Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today with Tea and Chat with me and Sharis. Today we are having tea in the evening, so it's a little bit of a change up and I hope you enjoy it. What tea do we have today, do you remember?
Well, because it's evening and almost bedtime, we decided to go with a very simple, just a chamomile.
No, we didn't. No. Smell that.
Oh, wait
it's
a minute.
Good.
Wait a minute. I went and got chamomile. That was my mission, and so my brain was chamomile. Oops. It's actually Sleepy Time Peach.
It smells so good.
This is Sleepy Time Peach. My bad. I was going to get the box of chamomile, and then I saw the Sleepy Time Peach, and I grabbed that as well. Oh. But my brain has been stuck on chamomile.
And then I smelled it, and I was so excited.
Have you ever had this before?
No, it just smells good.
Oh, it's lovely. A little bit of stevia, and it's...
I didn't taste it without.
I don't do that, taste teas without stevia.
Well, you're missing out. It's quite good.
Add if you'd like it.
And it's nice, caffeine-free. It's an herbal tea, so
yeah,
it's nice.
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, today I thought we would talk about our top 3 reasons to live polygyny. And I told Sharis, make your list, I'll make my list, and we'll compare. And if any of them we have the same, we have to cross them off. Just
and
kidding.
come up with another one?
No, they still count.
I know I could come up with another one, but like on the spot, I'm not sure. Not this late in the day.
So we're going to share our top 3 separate lists, and we'll just talk about them.
Yeah.
So,
how do you want to do this? Do you want to go all the way through your list, and I'll go through mine, and you do one,
I think we should
one?
do one. Because what if we have the same thing? We'll have to
Okay.
We might have the same. We might have the same things. We might.
That would be fun.
I have to pull mine out. This here is my brain. It's a bullet-style notebook, and I think it is the greatest thing that's ever happened. So, pull my notes out.
Okay, I didn't read them.
You can't see.
I saw that there were notes, but I didn't read them. Okay.
All right, Sharis.
Okay.
What do you have on your list? What's your first thing on your list?
Okay, the first thing I have on my list, reason number 1 that I chose to live polygyny, was because I lived it growing up, and both my moms were there for me in different ways. And my other mom, or my non-biological mom, was just so special to me. My relationship I had with her was unique, and it was just special. And so I wanted my children to have access to that, to have the beautiful thing that I had, to have another mother that they could rely on and go to when they needed help. So that was my number 1 reason for living polygyny.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yes.
You gave your children the gift of me.
I did.
That is really sweet. And I'm glad, because you still have a good relationship with your mom and your other mom.
Yeah, both my moms.
Yeah, I like them both too, so I'm glad they're in your life.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible women.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my number 1 thing was husband selection. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about it, and people are like, why would anybody live this? And I think it's a legitimate question, but as I was thinking about it, I thought, I chose my husband because he's a wonderful man. He has so many good qualities, and I got to see that in how he treated his wife and children. And so he's in my life because of that. And there's a lot of other women that get the chance to choose a good man, even if he's married. And I think that's a really cool thing. They don't have to choose a married man. They can choose a single man. But they're not limited to only the single men. Like, they could choose a real proven quality husband, and that has meant a lot for me, and I know that means a lot for other women too. So that's my...
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you heard a woman say, all the good men are taken?
Right.
And they just don't have the option of selecting the better husbands, the better fathers, because they've already been taken.
Right. So. Well, women choose them for a reason.
Yeah.
If there's a man out there who's kind, who takes care of those around him, who works hard, who serves God with all his heart, of course he's going to be chosen quickly. And that's good. But it's really nice that other women can choose that too. And just because one woman has chosen that does not take him off the table if he chooses to live polygyny.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a lovely thing. And it's beautiful for women. Okay.
Okay, my number 2 reason for living polygyny is it's a religious belief. I truly believe that God wants us to be happy. He desires our happiness. And so when God lays out a principle, like he did with polygyny in the Bible, and he says, this is a good way to live, this can bring you happiness, I trust him. And I trust that he wants what's best for me. And so that is another reason why I chose to live polygyny, is I believe that this lifestyle, when lived properly, can send you in like this upward trajectory to become the best possible version of yourself. And I think that's what God wants for his children, is happiness and security, and to become better human beings, and all of that can be found in a healthy polygynous family. So I trust God, and I trust that this is a good setup, that this is a good system that he endorses, and so I choose it.
Cool. So do you think that God requires that of everybody?
I do not. In fact, I know he does not. There are some people I know, people who are even dear to me, who could not live this way and be happy, or live this way, or live this lifestyle in a way that they would put other people first, and they're too selfishly minded. They could not.
Well, what if they became a polygynist and then learned how to be not selfish?
That would be fantastic. But I have seen this lifestyle not work for some people, and so I do not think it's for everybody, and I don't think God requires it of everybody either.
Yeah.
So I think it's an option that he's put out there that works for some people.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that. People have asked us that before. Do you think everyone needs to live this? Like, no.
No. Mosquito.
No.
No, thank you.
I also noticed. Anyway, yeah. I don't think that it should be lived by everybody.
No.
It's, I mean, there. I've thought about this. There's the Pareto principle, which is kind of like, there's a small percentage of the men, as we speak about polygyny, there's a small percentage of the men that would have most of the women. And it's kind of an unfair thing from everybody 1-to-1 ratio. But as far as opportunity of choice, it's actually incredibly fair, at least to the women. If the men choose to become something that women desire, they get chosen for that. Mm-hmm. If they maybe are not as ambitious, or maybe they struggle with personal failings like anger or violence, whatever, then they might not be chosen. I don't think that's, why should a woman have to pay for that?
Yeah.
Like, women should not have to choose a lower quality husband.
Yeah. Well, women by nature, we select what to propagate, what moves forward. Mother Nature, the survival of the fittest, this idea that women are really the ones who do the choosing.
Right.
And, if you look at animals in nature, with a herd mentality like elk, the female elk will choose the biggest and the strongest bull to procreate with, because that one's going to be able to take care of their offspring.
Right. For having children, that's the best bet.
Yeah. And, lionesses are the same thing. They want the biggest and the best lion out there, because then he can protect them and protect their cubs from all the other males. Mm-hmm. And so, throughout nature, women are the ones who select the males. And honestly, so if a male wants to be chosen, he has chosen. If a male wants to be chosen, he has to become worth choosing.
That's true. And it's a way of incentivizing the men to rise up, become something worth choosing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a punishment. It should be an inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my point number 2 is female companionship. I like friends. I like my female friends. And living this way, I get to live with my friends. So you and I live in the same house. Mm-hmm. We do tons of stuff together. And I like that. I'm a social person. And so I like having you around. I like having the companionship that offers. You know, we sit down and we have tea on a regular basis. We sit down and we have our women's meeting once a week where we talk about how to run the household and what
schedule is coming up for each of us and how can we facilitate everyone's needs.
Yeah, like that's so much funner with another person. I mean, I do it on my own too, but to be able to share that with a friend, I mean, it's different. Like I share things with my husband and we do things together too, but it's like there's a different dynamic between females in the family versus female to male.
Yeah.
And you know, they're both lovely in their own right, but to have that, it's like, you know, living with your best friend. Everyone loves having their best friend over and hanging out, but then she has to go home. And you can't wait till you get together again. But with us, it's like we live in the same house. So I do enjoy that. And there is something to being able to share the burdens too.
Yeah.
Of like daily life.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you're having a problem, you're trying to work through something, and it can be difficult to see outside of the box. You know, it's like, I've tried everything I can think of, but then your sister wife can be like, well, I've noticed this from my perspective. Have you tried this? And it's like, duh, that will work. And
you say that almost as if that's happened before.
Twice. No, it happens a lot for both of us, I dare say.
Yeah.
We both come from different backgrounds and different experiences, and we have different talents and that we bring to the table and different strengths. And so in areas where I lack, she can pick up, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think just having two heads are better than one type of a scenario.
Yeah.
That can be a really, really great blessing.
Yeah. And also just like, okay, cleaning the house, you got to do it. But like cleaning the house with somebody, provided you like that somebody, it can be so much more enjoyable and quicker. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that companionship and that sense of community with females, I love.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. Oh, so far we haven't had any of the same answers.
Well,
I'm surprised.
My number 3, I feel like we've already touched on a little bit the points I was going to make. But my third reason for living polygyny is that I truly believe that if it was more socially accepted in society, it could fix a lot of the problems society is having today.
Wow.
And we've touched on a few of these reasons. Women who want to be mothers, who want to have children, can look at the men who have proven themselves to be good husbands and good fathers and good providers, and can choose a man that they already know what kind of husband and father he's going to be. And they're not just left with leftovers. What's left? The men who haven't been chosen already. Mm-hmm. So I think that could bless the women. And that would also bless the family structure, because so many times we have these families that they get broken up. The dads, they leave, or the woman has to go out and help support the family or whatever, and families get broken. And I think that if the best husbands and fathers and providers were more of an option, more women could choose them, I think there would be less broken families. And I think that so that would bless the women who desire to become mothers and wives. And I think it would bless the men, because if a man wants to be a father, wants to be chosen, we touched on this, he has to become someone worth choosing. He has to better himself. He has to go get a decent job. He has to be concerned about his health. He has to be concerned about his physical appearance. He has to make himself better.
Yeah.
And so that would lift up the men as well. I think that a lot of men out there who don't put that much time and effort into themselves prey on desperate women who want to be wives, they want to be mothers, and he's all that's left. And so he doesn't have to make himself a better person because the women are desperate. And so I think that if a man had to prove himself before getting chosen, because the good ones are still available, and the women could choose proven men or men who are proving themselves, who really want that, then as a whole, I think that would fix the family. And I think that if the family can be fixed, then a lot of the problems we are dealing with in society today, our broken society, would heal themselves.
Yeah. Wow.
I think that it can be so much more for so many people if it was just socially acceptable. If enough people could just see how good it could be,
Right.
then it could fix so many of the problems we're facing in society today.
Wow.
So that's kind of big, but we touched on most of that with, the women being able to select good men, and the men wanting to become better so they are worthy of being chosen by a good woman or women. Or women. I guess it was right the first time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those are my 3 reasons, and there's a bug in my tea. That's a crying shame. Anyway.
It's still good.
It's probably still good. It's protein, right? Just extra protein.
Well, yours is much deeper than my number 3. Okay, so my number 3 is I like my alone time.
Oh my gosh. That's my number 4.
And what I mean by that is there is something so glorious to sleeping alone in a giant bed, to spending your night reading a book for 3 hours with no shame, to not worrying about turning out the lights because your husband's trying to sleep, to just being able to watch Downton Abbey when he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I actually, a lot of people think, oh, you're a polygamous woman. Like, isn't that so lonely? I'm like, no. One, I have a big family. I'm rarely lonely. Rarely. And so when I do have a moment to myself, it is just blissful. I love to sit with my own thoughts. I love to be by myself sometimes. And it's not something that I fear or something that I feel sad about. It's something that I treasure. And knowing that, my husband's fine. He has a relationship with Sharis. And it's like I get that time to myself. And I know that he's okay. And I get to enjoy that. And so I absolutely love it. Yeah. It used to be something, well, I don't know. I've always kind of enjoyed it. But especially just the older I get, the more I just really value it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because...
Yeah, I think that this lifestyle can actually be really healthy for like the more independent woman as well. Because there are times when I'm completely alone, that I have to solve my own problems, and I don't mind that.
Right.
But then there are also times that I have a man that I can rely on, that I can bring my problems to, and I enjoy that.
You might say it's the best of both worlds.
It is.
Like, I have a dependence on my husband, and I get to lean on him, but it's not like this codependence where he has to be my everything. He has to solve all my problems. He has to make me emotionally happy. That's not really an option, and it shouldn't be. And so I developed my relationship with God, and I developed my relationship with myself. And I think that that's so valuable because, talk about being independent and to have that inner strength. It's really a good thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love my nights with Jeff, and I love my nights alone. I'm like, oh, Jeff's with me. I get to watch the next episode of, like, Jack Reacher. And, okay, now I'm alone tonight. I get to watch Pride and Prejudice, I can have the best of both worlds and can just do my own thing. And I've really come to enjoy that, and I look forward to both evenings. They're both very different, and I love the energy, the completely different energy that I get to experience of those nights.
Yeah.
So...
I'm actually surprised that we didn't have any overlap. Like, I felt like maybe we'd have 1 or 2, but they were different.
No, I think that some of the points you made with yours kind of touched on one of mine.
Sure.
But no, all of our reasons were different. I also did not expect that. Yeah. So,
that's
fun. That was fun. Good
maybe
idea.
Next time we'll do the 3 biggest drawbacks of polygamy.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
That could be enlightening.
It could.
I don't know.
No guarantees.
If you guys are interested,
we'll come back to that.
Let us know if that's something you really want to know. We could go there.
Yeah, I think we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one thing that Vanessa and I have been able to cultivate over the years, is the ability to have difficult conversations. And we meet together once a week, you mentioned earlier, our little women's meeting, to kind of discuss, okay, what's your schedule this week? What's my schedule? How can we make this work? And part of that meeting is, okay, is there anything else we need to talk about? Is there anything that's come up that we need to address? Any problems? Anything anybody said? Did I do anything stupid? And so it's we've tried to create a safe place where we can bring difficult topics to the table, because if we're going to continue to coexist peacefully in the same house, we can't hide issues. We can't just pretend they don't exist. They don't go away. They just fester and get bigger.
Right.
And so yeah, I think we could share a conversation like that. That sounds fun.
Well, I hope that everyone found that interesting. Share your thoughts with us. Do you agree with some of these points? Do you disagree with some of these points? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It is just a beautiful evening out here. It's just lovely weather, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. So I guess we will see you next time.
Bye.